Sayulita is a little surf town located about an hour by car from Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. You may have heard of it as it's known for the waves, colorful flags lining the streets, and having a super chill vibe. It's popular with tourists from Mexico, North America, and also Europeans as well. There are also loads of cute dogs wandering around the streets and the beach, so hopefully you'll get to meet some of those guys if you take a trip there. If you want to get to Sayulita from outside of Mexico, first of all, you're going to fly into Puerto Vallarta. Then we found the best way to get into Sayulita itself was to take an Uber from the airport. It was super affordable, only about 300 or 400 pesos compared to the taxis, which were much more. You just have to get out of the airport, go to the left, and walk over that pedestrian overpass you just saw. That's where you're able to call your ride. So have to get past the madness of the airport, but totally worth it. This is the main beach in Sayulita, and lots of people do come into town to surf. I would highly recommend taking a lesson and checking it out if you are here. We decided to go to Punto Surf School because it was just off the beach and we were recommended it by our Airbnb host. So we just went for a lesson one day and then rented gear for the rest of the time that we were there. It worked out really great because then we could just take it when we wanted to use it, return it to them after, and not have to lug it back to our place. We also brought rash guards and water shoes just because there was some sea urchins and rocks in where the larger waves were. For the beginner spot just on the beach, it was totally fine though. If you need some fuel for that surfing, it's a great idea to start the day off with a smoothie or juice or acai bowl from Orangy. It's a bumpin' little juice bar. Seriously, it was always super busy, but worth the wait. It had a couple of bar seats, and everything here was under 100 pesos and very, very fresh. If you want something that you're going to sit down for a little bit more and is a little bit fancier, check out Rustica for breakfast. It's actually open all day, but we particularly really liked their brunch. It's very similar more to what we would see at home, so you may or may not want that, but the prices definitely do reflect that it's a little bit more luxurious. Our breakfast here was definitely more than 100 pesos. They're known for their pizza as well, which we thought was decent. We also found Miscelanea was a really nice cafe to go to. We only found it on the last day, unfortunately, but they had delicious coffee and kind of all of these different combinations that they'd come up with. They also had dogs in the restaurant. It was great. Itacate, and I'm sure I'm butchering that, so my apologies. This was our favorite place for Mexican food that we found. The guacamole was delicious, and they served burritos wrapped in fried cheese instead of tortillas, honestly. Don Pedro's was the fanciest restaurant that we checked out the whole trip. It seemed like the highest end place in town, honestly, and it was a great place to watch the sunset, but the food wasn't all that we had hoped it would be. In general, if you find your stomach gets upset on trips like mine tends to do, I would recommend trying these out. They're digestive enzymes. Honestly, I'm not a doctor, so check with yours first, but they did seem to really help me. It's just papaya extract. So we stayed at an Airbnb during this trip, which was a really affordable option and also really awesome. So we were just far enough away from town that the music and people out partying at night didn't bother us at all, but also we could walk anywhere that we needed within like 3 to 5 minutes, and the beach was super close too. So we shared the pool, but we had a private courtyard to ourselves. And also you could go up to the patio and have this great view on the roof of the building. We honestly use the pool, so I would highly, highly recommend taking a place that has a pool because we went in probably like 5 to 7 times a day. Just a quick note on currency. If you're Canadian, like I am, skip the USD and just go straight up bring pesos. That seemed to be what everybody took in town. And you can spend that cash on a golf cart if your place is a little bit further away than ours was. Lots of people use them to get around town. In Sayulita, you may notice that the forecast calls for rain during part of your trip. And certainly it poured when we were there. Luckily, this seemed to be for quite short amounts of time and really only in the evenings for us, so don't be too frightened. Most of the time, the beach looked like this, and I would highly recommend coming to check it out if you are in Mexico.